If today wasn't stressful enough, our audio's not working, the internet's not working. I tried to do a TV show like this, now I'm doing a podcast like this. I feel like it's not a coincidence that as soon as you realized you were going to be zoomed in on more so than any other podcast, you've now broken out the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander jersey just so you can go sleeveless.
Man, this is just an odd coincidence.
It's just an odd coincidence, just serendipity, as they would say.
Hey,
that
man.
you just happen to be shirtless. Do you feel like the jerseys look quite as good on you now that you have the shoulder deformity, or you think it's still fine?
I feel like you're lashing out at me because nobody thinks that you work out, and like this is like something that you wouldn't be able to pull off.
Well, you're the closest person to me right now. Welcome into episode 21 of the What's Right with Nick Wright podcast and YouTube show. And this show, I'm just telling you off the top, is being held together with Scotch tape, a little Elmer's glue, and our best efforts of our production staff back in Los Angeles. The internet in my house seems to have crapped out. Our camera setup is coming and going. The audio, listen, I'm going to be honest. Of all the podcasts you listen to on the best days, the What's Right show, audio quality, not the greatest. It's, we don't really use those fancy podcast microphones. We use what's called lav mics. Today, the audio quality going to be a little bit worse. There's nothing we can do about it. On the bright side, on today's show, you are going to get me lashing out at many people, me being punished for a take that is 2 years old that is being thrown in my face, and you might have a legitimate media war depending on how I decide to take a colleague of mine. Demonze doesn't know this, didn't just attack me, attacked you. We'll get to that. Demonze's unaware that any of this has happened. I have kept it all from him. But before we get to any of that, assuming we have even the technological ability to do so, let's discuss what we're not doing on today's show. Not on today's show is Eastern Conference Finals Game 4 because, as is always the case, that game is taking place a few hours after we record. Daniel Jones, he's going to turn it loose, which is a nice departure from his usual plan of just turning it over. And Orlando reportedly wants Chet number one. I have so many Chet Holmgren takes. One of them is something I deeply believe, but I also don't think in 2022 I'm allowed to publicly say it. So we'll get to those, maybe never. But now I turn to Demonze, who usually is across the room from me. But right now, look at this magic of television or radio. Look, I'm touching him. He's right next to me. There's a gap between us, though. Demonze, what are we starting with today?
Luka and your Mavs down 3-0 to the Warriors.
Yeah.
When Andrew Wiggins posterizes Luka Doncic, I think it's time to abandon ship. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm pretty sure you're going to say he's scoring 40 points every night, so it's not his fault.
Yeah.
But only two guys, Luka and Russ, have losing records with 40-plus games in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, isn't that kind of scary to you?
Okay, so there's a lot I need to discuss here in regards to Luka, and I'm going to hit this 12-minute clock, and in regards to the series. First of all, this idea that because the Mavs are 2-6 when Luka scores 40, that he needs to defer more. You've watched these games. I've watched these games.
Yeah.
He's deferring plenty. You know what I think he needs to? Quit deferring so much. So Reggie Bullock can go 0 for 10. And Maxi Kleber can forget how to shoot. And we got Frankie Nicotine out there missing threes. Josh Green made an appearance. No, I understand it looks bad that he's 2-6 when he scores 40. But the reality is this. Luka every game is trying to get teammates involved early. And the reason they have a losing record when he scores 40 is because since he's been a Mav, when does he score the most? When his teammates aren't shooting well, right. So he has to. It's not a chicken and the egg situation. People are like, which came first? I know what comes first. The team struggles, so Luka starts shooting more. He is shooting more in games they lose because the reason he's shooting more is because they're already losing, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I need to see Luka play with one person who's made one all-star team before I determine that he is just a taller Slovenian Russell Westbrook. But what?
No, I wasn't going to try to crush you. I obviously have been watching the games with you, and it's very sad to see.
It's so devastating.
I feel like you got to be aware of these type of things before you go on live television and say that.
Okay, well, here's the worst part, though. The worst part is how they're losing. You mentioned Wiggins dunking on him.
Yep.
There is a clip of me from 2.5 years ago calling Andrew Wiggins a bad basketball player and announcing after the Warriors traded D'Angelo Russell for Wiggins in a pick that this is going to be why Steph Curry never makes another finals.
And where's D'Lo at right now?
And D'Lo is the third or fourth best guy on the most annoying team in the league, Minnesota. Wiggins is having a wildly impactful series, and they're a game away from making the finals. And so I am rightfully getting annihilated. I am just getting absolutely crushed, and you know what? I deserve to be. I was wrong. I was a little too harsh on Wiggins. Now everyone forgets that a year ago, I already apologized for this take. A year ago, I already folded my hand on the Wiggins take. But the basketball take gods, I basically did to Wiggins what Pat Bev is trying to do to CP3. And I am now getting, just listen, this is the life I've chosen. Everyone gets to take their victory lap at my expense. With all that said, I will say this. Series isn't over. Now, has a team ever come back from down 3-0? No. However, we just saw the Mavs come back from down 2-0. And we have seen the Warriors blow a 3-1 lead.
Those things are true.
So do I think the Mavs are totally dead? No. Has it been 3 straight nights that I woke up having dreamt about Game 2? Game 2 is the one I can't get over. Game 2 is the pivot point of the series. They're up 19, and they blow it. And then yesterday, everybody was scared. Yeah, 2 people clearly not scared. Luka and Dinwiddie.
Yep.
But I give the Warriors credit.
Brunson got his buckets here and there.
Brunson was okay. He wasn't scared. He wasn't great. But everyone else was terrified.
Yeah.
This sucks so much. Okay. Speaking of things that suck, let's get to your take on the Eastern Conference Finals. Go ahead. What are we doing now? What are we doing now?
Miami won Game 3 against Boston without Jimmy Butler.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy missed the whole second half. They still won.
Unfortunately, Boston has played super inconsistently throughout the series. But we'll see what happens in Game 4.
Yeah.
But do you think it's safe to say that neither of these teams could hang with Golden State?
Oh, no. First of all, Golden State's not in the finals yet. Second of all, no, I don't think it's safe to say neither team can hang with Golden State. And I know you don't think it's safe to say, listen, we're having a lot of technical difficulties today. You're hearing it in the audio quality. If you're watching on YouTube, you're probably seeing it in the YouTube quality. But we're powering through. Despite the technical difficulties, we might have a tweet of DeMonze's that I would like to put on the screen that says, if you don't think the Celtics are going to win the title.
I said you need to be under surveillance.
Surveillance!
Clearly, you're not able to think rationally, and you could be unsafe to those around you and the general public.
That's what you said. Yeah. Maybe a slight overreaction by you, buddy, because your beloved Jason Tatum...
Job's not finished.
I'm sorry?
Job's not finished.
Job's not finished, but it's not going great for you. And maybe everyone needs to put some respect on the Miami Heat name. They did make the finals 2 years ago. They were the 1 seed, and they just won a game when Jimmy Butler missed a half, when Kyle Lowry was at like 30%, and when Tyler Hero hardly showed up. Maybe Miami knows what they're doing. That was an egregious loss for Boston. And by the way, what is up with the Celtics having career-altering injuries and then coming back 2 minutes later? The histrionics is unbecoming. Them all trying to be Willis Reed out there. Google him. He's all,
I know who Willis Reed is.
Oh, okay. You know who Willis Reed is?
Yeah.
All right. You know what? Tangent. Who's Willis Reed?
He played for the Knicks.
Stop feeding him answers, producers. Yeah, Stop feeding him answers.
No, nobody fed me an answer.
Okay.
He played for the Knicks. He was a center.
Nobody fed you that?
No. I'm going to be real honest right now.
Uh-huh.
Nobody fed me that, but both those answers that I just gave, I was like 80% sure that I would be wrong, but I just guessed. But yeah, I know who he is. I played with him on Blacktop in 2K.
Oh, there it is. All right, that's how you know it. Okay, good job by you, bad job by me. The L's just keep on coming for your boy Nick Wright. It's just really rough. DeMonze's outfoxing me here on old NBA history. I'm angry with what's going on in the West. The only saving grace is the Celtics and DeMonte are in pain about how the Eastern Conference Finals are going.
But Game 4 is tonight.
Game 4 is tonight. People will have already
enjoy that for a little bit longer.
You're very confident Boston's going to win.
I'm very confident.
There's
no way Jason Tatum's going to do what he did in the last game. Everybody's going to show up. And Brown scored 40. I believe he'll get at least 20 to 25 tonight. As long as he does that, I feel like we'll be good.
Okay, here's my only question. Do you think between games 3 and 4, and again, game 4 will have already happened when you hear this.
And Robert Williams might play.
Okay, stop with the Robert Williams. I have a more important question. Do you think between games 3 and 4, the Boston Celtics as a team will have learned how to dribble the ball? Because that seemed to be a problem for them. And I think that's going to be important against this Heat defense. All right, what's next?
Juwan Howard reportedly turned down an offer to coach the Lakers.
Yeah.
Reports say they're considering Darvin Ham or Terry Stotts. Mm-hmm. But the Doc Rivers rumors aren't really going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Do you think that James Harden is so washed that Doc Rivers would be willing to coach Russell Westbrook and LeBron James?
Here's what I think. I'm actually not going to talk about the Lakers coaching search today. I have no interest in it. There's too much pain for me in the sports world, and I want to talk about the NIL situation. So if you want to know my take on the Lakers coaching situation, you're going to have to find it somewhere else. I'm not doing it today. I'm going to hit the clock, and I want to talk NIL. Go ahead, next
wow.
topic. Next topic.
That was different.
Next topic.
Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher got into it about playing recruits.
Yeah.
You said on TV that people have such a problem with the NIL because of race. Mm-hmm. Some other media members did not agree with that.
Yeah.
What's the bigger problem for the NIL? Mm-hmm. Racism or fans being mad about their players not being able to play?
Okay. So here's where we get to a infuriating Friday afternoon. So I want to make it very clear what I said on the show on Friday, on First Things First. I said the whole college athletics system would never have been allowed to get to this place where it is men's college football and men's college basketball are multi-billion-dollar enterprises.
Yeah.
Where the coaches make more than pro coaches in certain circumstances, where administrators and ADs and the NCAA president, it's all seven-figure jobs. And that you are paying for other things around your athletic program, paying for the golf team or the tennis team or the swimming team, whatever it is. None of that would have been allowed to happen over the last 40 years as it's gotten more and more out of whack. If it wasn't for the fact that it is men's football and basketball, which is drastic majority Black population paying the freight for all of it. That it is wealth generated by young, mostly poor, mostly Black men, and that wealth is being redistributed to a mostly white, either administration, coaching staff, or non-rev sports. That's what I said. I didn't say college athletics are inherently racist. I didn't call anyone individually a racist. I said that we only got to this point because it was young, mostly poor, mostly Black kids being taken advantage of, so nobody gave a damn to fix it for a long time. I know I'm right about that. It is undeniable that I'm right about that. And yet, that really bothered a few people. One of which is an alleged colleague of mine. And you know what? I've thought about how I'm going to handle this all weekend because I knew I was going to be asked about it on the show. And I am going to, and I hate doing this, be the bigger man. I don't like being the bigger man. I like going low. When other people go, the anti-Michelle Obama, when they go low, go lower. When they're unprofessional, meet their unprofessionalism with a potentially career-crippling rant. That's what I thought of because the person who took the biggest issue with it, he quote tweeted me and said, "This is fake racism." He then went on to say fake racism almost as bad as actual racism, which is a hell of a statement to make. But that person then tripled down, even though, again, I wasn't talking to him and I called no one racist. That person then said, was I a racist when I made 20 calls on your son's behalf for college basketball and let him stay at my mom's house.
Holy crap.
So now you know who I'm talking about.
Wow.
And so I saw that tweet and I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to respond to this. I don't even know how to respond to this. But again, in case he's listening, if you think me or my son was not adequately grateful for the help you gave us 5 years ago, then my apologies. I think we're out of time. I think we need to move on. Demonte, I think we need to send him an edible arrangement. We'll be right back. So you don't even know the stuff I be going through behind the scenes, stuff that's going on. You have no idea.
Really?
You have no idea. You just living your happy-go-lucky life out here playing basketball, watching hoops, doing your job. Don't know all the balls I have in the air. I'm dealing with this on Friday. Saturday, viewers at her first ever prom. Do you even know what happened with your sister in prom on Saturday?
I mean, I asked her how prom went, so anything that she did.
She lost her phone. Well, she got it back the next day, but lost her phone. I was like, she's been take a page out of old Big Brother's book. The old fortuitous phone losing.
I don't know if that was what I ever tried.
Well, you tried everything else, and you did. Maybe you couldn't try it because you actually lost your phone too many times. You're like, I can't fake lose my phone because about every 9 months I lose the actual phone. All right, you ready to go? All right, let's do it. All right, welcome back in. What's Right with Nick Wright podcast YouTube show. It's usually better technically. I will tell you the sound, the video, all of it. Massive internet issues at Casa del Right. My apologies. Should be cleaned up by the next episode, but we are getting through it together. Demonte, what are we starting with right here?
The other day we were watching the Warriors game together, and you mentioned that you don't like the players being mic'd up pregame for at least the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why is that, and what would you do differently?
Okay, here, I don't mind guys being mic'd up and it's one-way audio. So when you have a player mic'd up and then we can do the TNT audio assist and you hear him like calling out defenses, those types of things, that I'm totally fine with. I thought Draymond doing an interview where he wasn't just mic'd up, but had an earpiece in before game 2, so it's a two-way conversation,
right? Back
and forth with the TNT guys. I thought that was a bad look. And listen, I like Draymond plenty. I've said I think he's, should have won 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards. He's, to me, a clear-cut Hall of Famer. I understand his value. But I also, if I'm his teammates, I'm a little irritated at how much Draymond, the future media personality, has intersected with Draymond, the current player. So
this was more of like a Draymond Green specific thing, or is this like for everybody?
It would be for everybody, but here's the thing. I don't think there's many players that would say yes to it. I don't think there's many guys that in the layup line, minutes before a playoff game, would say, yeah, I'm going to do a full back and forth interview. I just think that,
another player on the Warriors,
Jordan
Poole did.
Jordan Poole did it, and I didn't see that one. But I think Draymond kind of gives him the permission structure, so to speak. Draymond, would do it. Draymond says it's cool. I don't know. I just can't. I would be shocked if Steph did it. I know this much. We would crush Kyrie if he did it.
Yeah.
If Kyrie did an interview during layup lines of a playoff game, Marcus Smart, I feel like, would get a lot of shit for doing it. It just struck me as odd. And maybe I don't know. I think like Draymond the podcaster, Draymond the broadcaster, all of these things, while the Warriors are trying to win a championship, and if we're being totally honest, Draymond hasn't bathed himself in glory in this series. I don't think that's great. Are we talking anywhere in the show? I know the B block's usually mostly a surprise to me. Are we talking anywhere in the show about the technicals with Draymond?
Yes.
We are? Okay,
yes.
Then I'll wait for it. Okay, all right, let's move on. What's next?
Who's the worst offender in the league? Mavericks bench interfering with plays, or Draymond Green fighting with refs?
Okay, so that's great. So now time for a little this or that. So The Mavericks bench is a very interesting situation because my buddy Laszlo, who I've quoted on this podcast many times, he has a line about parking at concerts and parking in no parking zones.
Okay.
And he was going to a concert once with his co-host, Slim Fast, and Slim said, "You can't park here." Laszlo said, "Yes, you can." He said, "No, it says, restricted parking." He's like, "It'll be a ticket." He's like, "Yeah, I know. I can park here. It's just going to cost me $75 and I'm comfortable with it." Meaning, if you're willing to pay the fine, you're allowed to do it. That's what the Mavs have decided to do with the bench stuff.
Right.
Mark Cuban has said, "I'll pay the fines. It's worth it to me." So he knows he's going to get fined. He doesn't seem really to be complaining about getting fined. And he says it's worth it. So I have no issue with it. Like, the NBA needs to figure out, like, are you going to up the fines? You're going to make it more punitive? Until then, it's not a real deterrent. Draymond's stuff with the refs is so fascinating because Draymond has determined correctly that if he gets a technical foul early enough in a game, he is paying a 1 free throw tax to be able to act however he wants the rest of the game. And I can't really crush Draymond for this because the refs are doing it. If you guys didn't see game 2, Draymond early in game 2 got a technical and then just kept escalating the lunacy throughout the rest of the game because he knew they weren't going to throw him out. And it's very annoying, but I'll be honest. I've seen Luka do the same thing. Not in this series, but in previous years' playoffs, Luka, who loves to yell at the refs too, would get an early tech and then up the ante instead of lower it because he knows you're really going to throw me out. What I would say is this. Draymond then got an early tech again in game 3, but he didn't lose his mind too much in game 3, to his credit. Maybe because he thought Mark Davis might throw him out. It's on the Mavs if Draymond gets an early tech to bait him into another one. Like, if you're playing Frankie Nicotine minutes, even though he keeps hitting the side of the backboard on threes, or even Josh Green minutes, check them in and have them shove him and just see what. No, for real, not do anything dirty like dangerous. Right. Just do that and see. And then Draymond would only have himself to blame because he's the one that already got the first technical. But it is a very fascinating dynamic where Draymond is just paying a 1 free throw tax to be able to act and yell and bemoan however much he wants. It's not incredibly watchable. And I don't think it makes him look good. And I also don't think it's a good look for Draymond that he is more shocked than anyone when he hits a jump shot. And every jump shot he makes, which is only 1 or 2 a game, right, he reacts like it's a contested 38-footer for his 40th point. Like Draymond yesterday hit a foot on the line, top of the key 2. Yeah. And then was flexing and snarling, and then they showed his line. And it was 2 of 6 points. It's like, buddy, like, you gotta calm down. All right, what's next?
Oh, Tiger's run at the PGA was impressive because he played through injury, or embarrassing because he sucked.
Okay, sucked is a little mean.
Okay.
Tiger rallied on Friday to make the cut. It was stirring drama. I wish you'd been watching. And then Thursday, he shot a 79, which is about 10 strokes worse than he wanted to. Do you have another golf thing you want to say? You have a little twinkle in your eye, like you've got a zinger for me.
I'm still not a golf fan, but what color jacket would you win for, playing really badly in a tournament and then withdrawing? Okay. What is that a brown jacket?
I thought you were going to ask what color jacket you get for winning the PGA. Do you know what you get for winning the PGA championship? The Wanamaker Trophy.
Oh, it's a trophy.
It's a
sweet.
All of them are trophies.
The trophy's the jacket.
No,
that's what you're saying.
Oh my God.
So you get a trophy and a jacket, or do you just get a trophy?
You only get a jacket for the Masters.
Okay.
It's the green jacket for the Masters. It's the claret jug for the British Open. It's the Wanamaker Trophy for the PGA.
Sweet.
Okay. You know what? No more golf talk with him. From now on...
That is fine by me.
Okay, you know what? From now on, we're bringing in someone else. Where's Tom Rinaldi? Tom Rinaldi's got a podcast coming out with Fox. We're bringing Tom Rinaldi for our future golf talk. What's next?
Okay. More intriguing comment. Kittle saying Lance has an insane ceiling, or Kyrie calling LeBron the GM on a podcast?
Okay, I'm going to go with Kyrie calling LeBron the GM for a number of reasons.
Because he wants to be a GM.
No, just because at this point, I just want as much Kyrie content as possible. I find the whole thing fascinating. Okay. Like, I will listen to Kyrie on these podcasts, and some of the time, I'm like, you know what? I actually kind of empathize with the guy. Like, you know what? I do think his heart's in the right place. And then other times he just seems out of his mind. And other times I don't know if we can say that. That's good. Go ahead. You know what? Go ahead and give DeMonze his first ever bleep if we can do that retroactively. I don't think you need to be in the business of diagnosing people. I don't know. That's like a clinical term you just used. So that's okay. It's a lesson from you.
I honestly did not think that was that bad.
I know you didn't. That's why I'm here to just keep us steady, teach you about the Wanamaker Trophy, and tell you the things you can't say on the podcast. Let's just move on. Let's just keep it moving.
Watch one. Michael Vick playing fan control football, or J. Cole playing professional basketball in Canada?
All right, here. I'd rather watch Vick. Here's my question for you. Do you think if you spent the next 3 months getting in shape?
I think I'd cook J. Cole.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
That's what I want to set up. Yeah. A J. Cole, DeMonze, either 1-on-1 or like 3-on-3. Because we live in New York.
Yeah.
We're not that far from the Canadian border. My question is this. If J. Cole succeeds in this Canadian basketball league, do you think you should try out? I was gonna say, I'm not joking.
I don't know how much he played basketball like in high school, but
he was good.
Him like, okay, he might have been good. I haven't seen his highlights, but I've seen him like, running up the court and playing now. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just he's got like a different skill set. His like thing is like athleticism and stuff. It just looks like.
Oh, what low-key shape. Maybe he has a different skill set. Maybe his thing isn't athleticism and stuff.
I mean, Luka.
Yeah, but J. Cole's not Luka. That's fair. I guess that's a fair point. But no, part of me wants to see Vic, but part of me wants to see J. Cole just because I know how good of a player you are, where you are in my mind. I want to see if I believe you're better than J. Cole, because if I do, I think it might be a What's Right road trip to try to get you a tryout for J. Cole's team. We'll be right back. Welcome back in. Final segment, What's Right with Nick Wright podcast and YouTube show. Again, a reminder, every Sunday, our top 50 players of the last 50 years list continues on our podcast and YouTube feeds. Next week, we get into the top 21. And without question, our most controversial inclusion will be involved in that episode. We did players 25 through 22 this past Sunday, so check that out. Also, later show will be back on Wednesday on Thursday, pardon me. Hopefully our audio and internet quality will be better by then. But thank you for working with us through this as we, try our best to, string and cup this podcast together. Final segment here. There are many things we could talk about. I actually want to go back to something we were talking about the other day because I think the audience enjoyed it. Fortnite.
Yep.
Why can't I get good at it? I'm serious. Maybe that's the problem with the internet today. Maybe I used up all our internet for the month by playing it nonstop this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound arrogant here, but there are very few things in my life. I don't know that I can think of one that I worked really hard at and didn't become great at it. Fortnite, I'm working really hard at it, and I'm terrible at it. Like, it's not that I'm not great at it. I'm really, truly awful at it.
Yeah.
So what am I doing wrong?
I mean, when your plan is to land on the outskirts of the map, and sometimes not even really like some of the parts on the map that you land on. Mm-hmm. I know this is very specific, but it's like I didn't even know were like a part of the game.
And discovering new things.
Discovering new things.
Yeah.
Like your goal is
regular
to not
Vasco
run
da Gama
into anybody the entire game.
Well, that seems like sound strategy. It's 100 people, only one wins.
It's like,
so let them eliminate each other in the beginning.
Yeah, and then you just end up facing possibly the best dude in the game.
See, that's what
it's like in the NFL, you get a really bad schedule, and then you run into a really good team in the playoffs, and you get knocked out because you weren't experienced in playing actual good people.
All right, you know what? That's your best live analogy ever.
Felt really good.
That's like a really smart point you made. I'm
so annoying that has something to do with Fortnite.
No, no, that's fine. Listen, you're in your wheelhouse here. I really, here's the thing. I don't even enjoy playing it that much. I just can't admit defeat. I need to get good at it. Yeah, but I look back on them and there's pretty fluky.
The 2 wins that I saw, the second one, I don't remember what happened. But the first one was a nice shot. You know, you got to kill with the sniper.
Yeah, but it was my
loves
only
using
kill.
sniper, and
well, that's the other thing. Is there a Fortnite version that is just snipers?
They do that, yeah. Like
maybe I should try that because I've already started doing the no.
Really bad at the game. Fortnite. I should start playing snipers only. Like,
yeah,
that's
you think it's a bad idea.
I think that snipers are like one of the hardest guns to use in the game.
I don't know, man. Maybe this is what it's like for, you know, I'm going to sound like such an asshole. Maybe this is what a lot of people deal with. Like, I worked really hard and I still couldn't do it. I'm 37. I don't know that I've ever felt this way. Like the hardest thing, the things I've ever worked the hardest at, up to and including, apologies if this is a little uncomfortable for you, getting your mom to go on a date with me, I've achieved. I worked at that for a year. And now we're married. I interviewed to go to Syracuse, and the dean said to me, "Seem sharp, you seem hardworking, but you'll never get on the radio with that voice." And then on the drive home, my mom said to me that in order to get on TV, even though I overcome the voice, I would get need a nose job. And
that's really crushing.
But it's not though. Because I was, at one point in time, I believe the second best sports radio person in the country to Colin. And now I'm America's favorite sports television broadcaster, or at least on the short list. I've achieved all these things. And this goddamn Fortnite game, I just keep getting smoked. And this weekend, I played with Deanna's friend. This 8-year-old, he's 8 years old. And he annihilated me and kept laughing at me. And then he's like, "Let's play a different version. It'll make it easier for you." And then he got his little brother. Deanna's 8. Her friend is 8. The little brother's got to be 6.5 or 7. And he smoked me too. And they're both on the little comms laughing at me. And then we did a trios match and they got super pissed at me.
Yo,
they refused to revive me. They're like, "No, bro, Deanna, your dad stinks."
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. All right. Well, hopefully the internet gets fixed so the podcast can be better and I can get some more Fortnite reps in. Good show today, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Hey, thanks for watching. Smash or just lightly tap that subscribe button. It all works the same. To get more from the show, and make sure you click, why don't you want to mash the bell too, guys, or just, lightly tap the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just hit the link in the description below.